The Philippine Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. Chapter 1, Philippine Biodiversity Overview of Status and Trends. Figure 1 shows territorial distribution of the major ethnographic classifications of Philippine IPs. More than 7,100 islands fall within the borders of the Philippines hotspot, identified as one of the world's biologically richest countries. The country's terrestrial and marine habitats contain some of the richest biodiversities of flora and fauna, and its waters are considered a part of the Coral Triangle. Despite of this, the Philippines ranks among the top 10 globally with the largest number of species threatened with extinction. So this is according to Conservation International 2013. Over 100 ethno-linguistic groups comprise the ancestry of the Philippines, mirroring to a great extent the precious biological and ecological variety that the country's 7,000-strong islands boast. Also, like the diverse flora and fauna of the archipelago, indigenous peoples and cultural communities make their home in different ecological territories from the coast to the highlands. Overview of Philippine Biodiversity. According to Convention on Biological Diversity, biodiversity is the variability among living organisms from all sources including inter alia, terrestrial, marine and other aquatic ecosystems, and the ecological complexes of which they are part. This includes diversity within species, between species, and of ecosystems. According to Biodiversity Management Bureau (DENR) and Conservation International, Philippines is one of the most important centers of amphibians and reptiles in Southeast Asia. Endemic species by taxonomic group in percent. Amphibians, we have 85.4%, reptiles 67.5%, plants 65.8%, mammals 61.1%, birds 34.8%, and freshwater fishes 23.0%. Philippines' unique biodiversity, both a hotspot and a megadiversity country. Philippines is among the top priority hotspots for global conservation. Putting biodiversity into good use. Water, pharmaceuticals, food, and biomass fuels. Biodiversity and ecosystem services. Why biodiversity matters to Philippine development. Philippines derives services from biodiversity which include water, food, pharmaceuticals, biomass fuels, carbon sequestration and climate regulation, crop pollination, cultural, intellectual, and spiritual inspiration, and ecotourism. Generating wealth from Philippine biodiversity. Agriculture and fisheries contributed an average of 18.4% to GDP, and the sector grew at an average rate of 2.6% annually. Agriculture employed an average of 11.8 million people, so this accounts for almost 35.1% of the total workforce. Between 2004 and 2010, agriculture and fisheries sector exports rose from $2.5 billion to $4.1 billion. The top agricultural exports in terms of value are coconut oil, fresh banana, tuna, pineapple, tobacco, and seaweeds. Scientific discoveries in 2012. Camiguin hook owl is found only on the small island of Camiguin Sur, close to northern Mindanao. Cebu hook owl, thought to be extinct as the forests of Cebu have almost all been lost due to deforestation. The continuing degradation of Philippine biodiversity. The continuing habitat degradation and forest land conversion are major threats to Philippine biodiversity. These are attributed primarily to the following: indiscriminate logging changes the forest landscape. Mining claims and rights overlap with defined areas for PAs, ancestral lands, including those planned for conservation areas that threaten ecological sustainability. Unsustainable production and consumption of medicinal and ornamental plants and wild animals for trade and domestic use have contributed to habitat degradation and dramatic reductions in species populations. Narrowing of food base, simplification of diets are less complex and high-energy diets. Introductions of invasive alien species have also taken a toll, particularly in wetlands. Degradation from climate change. Undervaluation of ecosystem services from natural resources, and weak integration of biodiversity concerns in landscape planning.